Hi guys, it's Laura here. We're going to talk about all of the movements that your baby is going to be making during labor. I know that you will be doing a lot of work during labor, but your baby is also going to be doing work. He has to make a number of twists and turns and descents in order to make his way through all of the structures in your pelvis. All of the positions and the movement and the swaying and the things that you are doing with your body are going to help him make these movements easier. So first, let's see what those are. The official term is the 7 cardinal movements. And here's how they begin. The first thing that your baby is going to do is engage in the brim of the pelvis. This is what you think of as dropping. The baby has dropped. If somebody says to you, oh, your baby's dropped, or your belly is like 4 inches lower than it was yesterday, or all of a sudden you wake up one day and you can take a full breath because your uterus has dropped slightly lower than it was before. It used to be called lightening. If you hear that term, it's the same thing. So this is when the baby's head has engaged into the brim of the pelvis. After this, he will begin to descend down in. If this is your first baby, this may not happen until you go into labor. Second, third, fourth, 8th babies, it starts a little bit sooner with each one. So the baby will begin to descend into the pelvis. And then as he's descending and his head hits the pelvic floor muscles, that cues him to turn. And he will turn toward the side. And this is why. If you look at the top of the pelvis, this is the widest part. When he gets to the bottom, this is the widest part. So your baby is going to make some movements to make sure that the widest part of his head is matching the widest part of the pelvis as he comes through. So he's going to turn to the side, and as he does that, he's going to tuck his chin. If you can see the shape of that head, it's pointiest right at the bottom. This is also where that soft spot is, and the bones in his skull can shift to make it even pointier. And that's going to lead the way as he comes down. So he's going to tuck his chin as he turns and continue to descend through the pelvis. Now as you're pushing, and we'll talk about this more when we get to the pushing section, but you'll push, and then in between contractions his head will come back up a little bit, and push, and he'll come back up a little bit. And then when the baby's crowning, his head will stay right here at the outlet. The doctor will be able to see and tell you what color the hair is at that point, if there is any. And then as he makes his way out, he is going to extend his chin, and he's going to turn again. And that final turn is so that his shoulders can get through the widest part of the pelvis. And my pelvis is not as flexible as yours, so your baby will come through a lot more easily than this. But his shoulders will turn, and this happens very quickly. Once the head is born, it's usually one more push, and there's a turn, and then expulsion is the official term, but really it goes very quickly. So head is out, one more push, and the rest of the body is born. Those are all of the movements that your baby is going to be making as you are working very hard to help him do that during your labor and birth.